Alrighty now, I will regale you with the tale of my hat. Tale, T-A-L-E, not T-A-I-L. On my Facebook page, in the photograph somewhere, is a picture of the only other gray hat, Western fedora type hat I've ever owned. And I honestly don't know what happened to it. That was a long time ago, like 25 years ago when I had it. Back then my hair was real dark brown, almost black, instead of gray. My whiskers were real dark brown, almost black, instead of white and gray. And I was a lot younger man back then. Yeah, right, I was. But I always wanted a gray hat, another one. I've missed it. I like gray hats. So I went into eBay and looked, and I went into Amazon and looked, and I went into Etsy and looked, and I couldn't find one cheap enough that old skinflint me would be willing to pay for it like that. So I found an auction on eBay. This is a fedora. It was a little, I wear a 7.5, and this was a 7.25. And I have a hat stretcher that Linda keeps stored for me, and I used it on the hat. Now I can wear it. I got a fly in here pestering me something fierce. But anyway, I found this auction, and it was a 3-day auction, and I watched and I watched and I watched, and I put a bid in, and got it. Cool. I just killed me another fly. I'm mighty like that. And I couldn't get a handle on it real good. I put a bid in, and the bid that I put in was $8.80. The other guy had a bid of $8.50, and it was in the final waning moments of the auction. And Linda was asleep and gently snoring, and her snoring is like music to my ears. The reason for that is I know she's alive when she's doing that. I'll get back to my story here in a minute. I put this as the new wallpaper on my cell phone because that is my sweetheart giving me an I love you, double I love you sign from a hospital bed a few years ago. She had just had massive surgery. She had appendix cancer, which we had never heard of, and they cut a whole bunch of stuff out of her. And she's cancer-free now, and I'm very thankful. You know, our pastor has talked about miracles and promptings. Well, that was a miracle, and I've been thanking God for her and for that miracle ever since. I do on a daily basis. But let me get back to my sordid tale here. Let me get a sip first. I think it was 1:18 in the morning. Linda was asleep, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and suddenly it was 39 seconds until the auction was over. And I clicked 20 cents over 30 cents over what the other guy, he had $8.60 bid. I bid, no, He matched my 880. That's what it was. And then I bid 20 more cents. And so I got this hat for $9. I don't know what one of these costs new. It's not a cheap one. It's actually really nice. It's a, I've got a, it's not by Scala. Let me get some glasses on and see what. Sorry about blinding y'all with my. Okay. It's made in China. I thought it was American. But hats like this usually go for 60, 70 bucks, even when you can find them on eBay or Amazon. It's a Western fedora. There's an outfit in Australia that makes hats like this, and they cost you 59 bucks, then another $30 to have them shipped. So you got a $90 in it, and the shipping on this was free. So I had a total, tax and all, because I didn't have to pay tax on it, I don't guess. I might have. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But it cost $9 before tax. So that's the tail of my hat. I wore it to church this morning. I have an eye condition, which y'all know about, that when I turn the light on, the digital one up there, I have to wear shades. I have to wear these in church. If they just had the lamps in the chapel on down the middle, I wouldn't have to wear a hat over these. But there's these other lights that are like fluorescent lights, and they irritate my vision really bad. So I'll wear shades and I'll wear a hat. That's the tail of my gray hat. Now, I ordered last night. Linda and I were, okay, I'm going to back up and tell on us. Like, when I go in the house here in a little bit after I do this vlog, she's taking a nap, and I'll go in, and I'll hang my hat on the wall, and I'll change out of boots, and put my shooter up, and change into shorts and stuff. I call them my lounge lizard clothes, and get comfortable. Then after that, when she gets up, she and I will watch things on television. And we watch some awful stuff sometimes. Not awful, not crude or pornographic or anything like that. We just watch stuff. She and I both have an aversion to nudity, gratuitous sex and stuff like that. We just don't do it. I guess we're a couple of old fuddy-duddies. Like last night, she got up after I set up. It takes me a while to get to the point that I can lay down and actually get rest and sleep. Last night I got to bed about 1:45, but before that she got up because of her dog, and I was watching a deal that I didn't know she knew about. It's called What You Doing, Willis. There's another vlog we subscribe to, What the Hales. There's a guy named Jeremy Hales, Hales. They do eBay, and they do coin pushers, and they do all kinds of stuff, and they do travels. And evidently he's made a young fortune off of eBay. Let me get a sip. But they bought a farm in Florida, and I don't remember how many acres. I think like 70 or something like that, maybe 90. But they have a house there, and there's a guy named Willis that caretakes the place while he and his girlfriend George are elsewhere. Usually they winter in Florida and summer and hot weather up in Ohio. and they have a really nice home in Ohio. But anyway, I didn't know Linda watched or knew who Willis was. He's kind of a handyman guy. Anyway, that's what I was watching. But prior to that, I was watching him show what kind of damage happened in Florida. Prior to that, I bought a hat band. I've got another one, or had another one like it. I gave a hat to my son Nick, and it has pretty much the identical hat band on it. Well, I bought one for this one. I don't know when it'll get in, but the truth of the matter is, I paid about 2.5 times as much money for the hat band for this hat than I paid for the hat. But it was what I wanted. It's the look I want for it. And it's like my friend Mike told me this morning, it's a good hat to wear to church. Now, what is the fat boy going to do today when I get out of here? Well, I already told you I'm going to go change clothes. My left knee is very painful today. It's a 2 walking cane day, unfortunately. I've got some ointment that's prescription that I gave Linda when I go in the house. Some of that high dollar stuff. You can buy a over-the-counter version of it, but it's not as strong. And when I see my doctor next, I'm going to have to inquire about getting some additional stuff. Larry Fry and his wife are such precious people, and I told Linda coming home from church, he's exactly who I need in my life. The man's real. There's nothing bogus. He's a kind individual, extremely knowledgeable, and he's a go-getter. And I just love him and his wife to death. I do. Linda does too. I told her that she's going to end up being great friends with his wife. They've got 3 big goats that if they move up here from down in Texas, we've got fence and stuff out there. We can put them a fence up. She can show us where she'd like the fence, and we'll put it up so that she can have her babies with her right there. They're big. They're wethers where they've been neutered, and she said they're big and kind of mean. That's fine. And I think we've even got out there by one of the big pecan trees, that zip board. We've got one house we built out of that's not being used. We could probably put it on a trailer and drag it down there, but I'm pretty sure she's already got something for them. Her husband told us today that he bought a horse trailer that needs a floor and non-weather rotted tires and the electric done on it. And I guarantee you he's a guy that'll get it done, and it's probably so that they know they're going to be moving up here. And he's a great guy, just super guy. Anyway, that's all I got to say today. Let me get a sip. To my friend Chris Kimball that made a statement on the vlog yesterday that it sounds like Oklahoma's doing the same thing that was done to Indian land here in this state. Property the tribes are supposed to have forever, and it got taken away from them. Yeah, brother, that's exactly what they're doing. And it makes me so mad sometimes I get indigestion over it. You'd have to understand something. All the heartbreak and turmoil my sister Randy has been through, I'm a huge fan of hers. I have an extreme amount of respect and admiration for her. I do. All my siblings, I love them and have admiration for them. Michael, Zachary, Jason, John, all of you. Amy, I love all of you. I have great love in my heart for you. And all of my siblings have had heartbreak in their life, every one of them. But Mom, great heartbreaking. She lost my dad last year. And I understand heartbreak. We've had some ourselves. But to have the state of Oklahoma threaten your home, and that's what has happened with Randy and JD, makes me want to break out a shooter, a pew-pew, whatever you want to call it. I won't, but it makes me feel like doing so. I don't know, I'll take my survival spear and no, I won't. It's one of those situations where you protest what you can, write letters when you can, which I have, contacted political representatives, which I have, and voiced your opinion, which I have. And then after you've done all that, one thing you've got to do is pray. And pray before, during, and after, and ask God to intercede, because He will. You know, God answers prayers, folks. Proof is right there on my phone. He answers prayers. Prayer is powerful, and prayer changes things. Well, that's my spiel today. I'm going to get off of here and try to enjoy the rest of the day. I've got a lot to do tomorrow. I actually have a lot to do out here. I'm just not going to do it. But I love all of you. God bless all of you. And like the sign up there says, be kind. Bye.